What it is, people, my name is Batman. And the next 2 years are going to be an extraordinarily exciting time to be involved in the gaming industry because these years are going to define the future of gaming. An epic clash of ideas is upon us, and those of us here in the YouTube gaming community are going to play a significant role in deciding who comes out on top and what ideas persevere to define the pinnacle of what it is to be a gamer. And to understand this time period and the major effects we as YouTubers can have on it, we have to first understand the phenomenon that has awarded us that role, and that is the rise of the gameplay commentator. The gameplay commentary has become its own industry, and one that I now realize will exist so long as video games exist. Now, I didn't always feel this way. Way back in Modern Warfare 2, when I first started watching YouTube videos, I actually thought it was possible, nay probable, that at some point in the future this whole gaming community on YouTube with these sort of celebrity commentators and contests and series and dual comms would all die out. And I don't mean that there wouldn't be gaming videos on YouTube anymore, just that those videos would be restricted mainly to tip and tricks videos and tutorial videos, which was how it was in the beginning. You know, way back when it wasn't everyone and their dog posting videos, it was generally a very small amount of people who were very, very good at the game that would take the time to record and post a guide or a montage of some kind. Because this is back before everyone found out that YouTube is a goldmine, and there was very little personal interaction with the actual person behind the video. No commentator showdowns or March Madness or YouTube drama as they call it. And I felt like this current, at the time, YouTube community had been built on top of Call of Duty, because the real explosion in the beginning for gameplay on YouTube was Call of Duty, and this is because of a couple of factors that mostly have to do with the game itself being the first of its kind in attempting to minimize the skill gap while maximizing pacing and overloading the rewards and incentive circuits in our brain. Though I do suspect this jackpot they've hit where they get free 24/7 advertising on YouTube really was inadvertent. Regardless, the factors that blew Call of Duty up on YouTube were 1. The pacing of the game made the videos much more stimulating. 2. COD was the first game where when someone did good, they did really good, which would also obviously make for very stimulating videos. And lastly, because Call of Duty was such an addicting game, and because it was so effective at making kids feel like champions, they would get heavily interested in the game itself, which would push them to watch gameplay of it on YouTube for 2 reasons, the first being tips and tricks. You know, because of perks and classes and attachments, COD became the first game where a strategic understanding of all these different items and create a class was important to do well. You know, like Halo had a presence on YouTube long before COD came around, but the videos weren't in-depth explanations of perk and attachment combinations and spawn points and the best pieces of cover. Halo videos and all gaming videos back then were really limited to things like, here's where this skull is on this map, here's the super jump on this map, here's how to get the Scarab gun on Halo 2 level 3, or here's a legendary walkthrough. Like, I watched a Halo 2 legendary walkthrough, but the guy never talked in it, nor did anyone ever commentate in any of those videos. So, you never developed any kind of relationship with the guy making the video, and the amount of videos and type of videos were also really restricted. Like, if somebody else had made a video showing the legendary ending cutscene, why would you make that same video? Because again, this is back when there was no money in it. The popular gaming videos that someone would watch for genuine entertainment as opposed to just tips and tricks were things like Red vs. Blue, but that was a professional production put on by a professional studio, and they sold that shit in DVD format. It wasn't even that popular on YouTube in the beginning, but everything else was restricted to guides, and that's how it was for most games. And so the popularity of gaming on YouTube was really capped back then. But with Call of Duty, the tips and tricks possibilities were endless and continue to be. You know, best rushing class setup, best defensive class setup, best attachments for any weapon, best perks, how to get tactical nukes, free-for-all guides, spawn trap guides, etc., etc. And it also allowed for a lot more in-depth strategy and understanding of things, which really provided a launch point for what has become so popular, the commentary. You know, before in video games on YouTube, you would just show the location of something in a video or show how to accomplish a task in a certain game on the video. But with Call of Duty, you could spend 10 minutes talking about something sort of abstract, like the pros and cons of SMGs versus assault rifles. The irony is Call of Duty was great at removing the skill gap entirely while still pretending it was actually very wide. So everyone would come on YouTube searching for a lot of tips and tricks, and what would happen, and this is why I think it was inadvertent on Call of Duty's part, is that they would realize they straight up just enjoy watching the game, period. And this is exactly what happened with me. And it's not that other games in the past had never had this effect on people, but no game had ever had it on the sheer amount of people that Call of Duty did. And it comes back to the same reasons I was talking about before. Pacing, etc., etc. And also, because I think a part of what made COD so addicting and continues to make it addicting to this day is the little dopamine rush you get every time you get a kill. But again, what COD did differently from every other game was to make it extremely easy for anyone to get that Russia lot. And then they had the little, plus 100 or whatever pop up in the middle of your screen, and I think after you had played the game long enough, your brain would be trained to release that same little bit of dopamine every time you saw the little number pop up, even if it was just a YouTube video. So again, people come for the tips and tricks, stayed just because they wanted to be entertained, and it was due to a perfect combination of various factors that were specific to Call of Duty. So back in the day, what I basically thought was, oh, this is cool, but eventually COD will burn out and take the bulk of the YouTube gaming audience down with it. Oh, how naive I was. So obviously, at this point, I realized I was wrong about that. I now think that so long as there are video games, there will be gaming videos. The two are linked in a masterfully symbiotic relationship that is seemingly indestructible. And even if it wasn't indestructible, it would be safe simply because both parties involved value it exceptionally. Game developers realize that YouTube gameplay videos are basically the best advertising they could ever have, and it's totally free. And obviously the commentators realize they can now drop out of high school and get rich playing video games. And the two things that have changed since back in the day when I thought the community would eventually die down are, for one, a bunch of other games have actually found a lot of success on YouTube. And I'm not necessarily talking about Minecraft. Minecraft is at this point the most searched game on YouTube, but that would have been the case even if there wasn't a YouTube gaming community and Let's Play series and all that, because to play Minecraft you have to watch the YouTube videos. It's the only way to understand the game. And I think they should just build like a YouTube search bar into the client you run it on. And I'm actually going to do a commentary about that at some point later on, because I recently started playing Minecraft and I literally find myself YouTube searching or Googling shit like 3 or 4 times a session. You know, things like how to craft certain items, where to get certain types of resources, etc., etc. But what I'm really talking about is other games that huge swaths of people are watching for extended periods of time purely for the entertainment factor, without the tips and tricks. You know, they're not coming to watch the tips and tricks. They're coming to these games to watch them on YouTube just for the entertainment, alright? Let's Play videos of single-player games have taken off in a way that I never thought they would, because the way I see it, it's kind of like going to your friend's house and watching him play a game by himself, except in that scenario, you usually end up getting a turn, which is not the case on YouTube. But regardless, Let's Play videos have still taken off. If you look at a channel like Toby Games, 5 million subscribers. It has grown past Toby's main channel, and I don't think I've ever seen him post Call of Duty, just a bunch of Let's Plays, some of them on very popular games like Dead Space or Bioshock. Some of the games I've never heard of, like Limbo, and some of the games are literally just iPhone apps, and there are a lot of commentators who do that actually, and he's getting millions of views on these videos, and so are plenty of other channels like CNanners. CNanners must be some kind of fucking genius, okay, because he's breaking 500,000 to 1 million views, to even 9 million views on videos of games that not only I haven't heard of, but I don't think anyone's ever heard of. And a lot of people say that's just because he has so many subs that he can get views on anything, but keep in mind, getting views from your subs is still difficult. You can look at someone like Whiteboy, and I'm not trying to talk shit, but, you know, to each his own, but with 2 million subs, he still never breaks 200,000 views on a video. And again, he's posting Call of Duty, which is usually you know, that's a winner. But I digress. The point is, any and every game at this point can and will at some point become popular on YouTube in the right hands. And every time a new game comes out that has some decent pre-release hype, it will earn a strong presence on YouTube immediately. You look at all the playthroughs that came out for Dead Space 3 right after it came out, all the playthroughs for The Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite. It's at the point now where every single game gets its week of fame on YouTube, and this will have huge ramifications for the futures of both industries, and I will discuss those in much more depth in the next episode. Please remember to rate and follow me on Twitter for that sweet tweet sauce. This is Batman, signing out.
Operation complete. Nice job, grunts.
Good job, SEALs. Stand by for further orders.
No! Oh!